Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we find out why a health organisation is going green. And we visit a college in Scunthorpe to find out why they're excited about cars. And my newspaper reviewer is John Byrne from YMCA Humber. Welcome to Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard, but first it's over to Erica Barker for the news headlines.
A Grimsby charity says they urgently need more volunteers if they're to keep services running. Harbour Place Day Centre on Grimsby's East Marsh supports vulnerable people from providing one-to-one counselling sessions to offering food and a place to sleep. They are appealing for people to get in touch.
They get somewhere they can come for a safe period of time where they're not judged by our volunteers at all, and they can come and access food, clothing, showers, one-to-one help, or just a listening ear. And our volunteers are crucial with that they're there to sit and listen to clients, because often clients don't have anyone else to talk to.
The A16 to Grimsby has been ranked as the most dangerous road in the country. The Lincolnshire Police Road Safety Partnership has released a list of the region's most lethal roads in a bid to persuade users to take care. The A16, which runs from Spalding to Halton-le-Clay, tops the list, with 86 people killed or seriously injured between 2012 and 2014. A new assisted living centre has opened in Grimsby, costing £1.2 million. The mock-up home with specialist equipment from hoists to stair lifts enables people with disabilities to see what could make their daily lives easier to help them live more independently.
Currently got disabilities, whatever age they are, and it's for those that are thinking about the future and want to future-proof their own homes so that they can remain independent for as long as possible. To actually have to rely on someone else has to detract from your own choice. If you can be independent, you've got full choice.
And people are being encouraged to get on their bikes instead of getting behind the wheel of a car. As part of National Bike Week, Cycle Hub in Grimsby, which provides a bike hire service, is highlighting the benefits of leaving the car at home.
Well, it's a win-win situation for everyone, really. For people, it keeps you physically and mentally healthy, and it keeps traffic off the road, and it keeps the environment from getting even more polluted.
And that's all from me.
Organisations are going green in a bid to cut their carbon footprint. In Grimsby, the Care Plus group, who provide community health and adult care services, has installed a number of solar panels onto its building, said to be the largest visible array of panels on a single building in North East Lincolnshire. Richard Morris went to find out more.
The Care Plus group in Lincolnshire has made a huge investment to make sure that a quarter of their energy needs in the building can be met by a solar array.
We are halfway through an installation of 120 250 watt solar panels on the roof of our main headquarters facility. And this array, once it's fully installed, should give us about a quarter of the complete electricity that the building uses during the course of a year, which is fantastic for us because it means that we can not only contribute to what we feel is our environmental responsibility and offsetting the carbon that we produce as an organisation, but it also helps us in terms of saving money as an organisation. And the type of organisation that we are, which is a social enterprise, we're a staff-owned organisation, it means that that money that's saved can be ploughed back into providing local services.
The Care Plus group hope that they are setting an example to other business properties in the local area, as they say solar panels make sense for commercial buildings.
It's particularly useful when you consider it in terms of commercial properties, and it's very simple in that a commercial property is likely to be full of people all day when the sun's out. I think it becomes a no-brainer for commercial organisations, if they have the right circumstances, if they have the right aspect to their building, I think it's a no-brainer for organisations to install solar technology, not just because it's the right thing to do and it's environmentally responsible, but also because it stacks up financially. For domestic properties, it also stacks up as well. Anyway, it does stack up, but for commercial property particularly, because that's where the most of our staff are going to be in, this, which is essentially houses a huge amount of our teams, nurses, our core handling teams, our intermediate care at home, they're there during the day when the sun's out.
The installation is expected to be completed by the end of the week.
You're watching Estuary News. Coming up, we find out how music is helping stroke patients in Hull. And Erica Barker will bring you the latest local sports news. Now it's time for our newspaper review, and joining me in the studio is Jonathan Byrne from YMCA Humber. I can't even say it. YMCA Humber even, John. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Evening, Emma. I'm fine, thank you.
Good, brilliant. What stories have you found for us today?
Got an interesting range of stories. We're starting in Skegness, where dinosaurs will return to the town after 20 million years. I think maybe capitalising on the success of the new Jurassic Park movie.
Yes.
Reggie the Raptor, a life-size 16-foot raptor dinosaur, is coming to the town on Saturday, July the 4th.
Oh,
so
well, what's he going to be doing?
He's going to be he'll be introduced to visitors in an amazing show outside the front of the Hildred Centre in the town.
Oh,
so maybe doing a little bit of performing. And
I was going to say, have you seen the new film?
I haven't, no.
I did. I went to see it last night, Jurassic World, and absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's a bit like the previous movies, obviously. It's the same plot.
Yeah, I've only ever seen the first one, personally. So
it's very, very good, though. Did enjoy it. So, dinosaurs returning to Skeggy. What else have we got?
We've got a combined Humber authority looking bleak, says the Hull Council leader, Stephen Brady. So, you know, I sometimes have a little bit of a different view on this as somebody who grew up in Humberside.
Okay.
That maybe North East Lincolnshire has a little bit of a lack of identity in terms of the country. It's neither Lincolnshire nor Humberside.
Yeah.
But Mr Brady is thinking that it does not look as if they can recognise two counties as Yorkshire and Lincolnshire together as a Humber authority. So looks like that one's going to be knocked on the head.
I mean, this has been in the news all week because obviously we had the Hull and Humber Chamber and a few other businesses this week talking about this metro mayor for the Humber region. I mean, what do you think of that? Because all the business events that we have with the Chamber and bondholders that all want us to unite, do you think that this is something we should be looking for?
I think so. I think for a sound financial and industrial future for the region, that we have to encapsulate the Humber region. I mean, we're YMCA Humber, and anything sort of outside of Grimsby going south is YMCA Lincolnshire. So we're very much north and south bank, and I'm wondering whether
which way to go.
It's time for us to start thinking about whether, maybe not perhaps a reintroduction of Humberside, but certainly to be more tied in together and benefit the area as a whole.
Because Humberside is a bad name to say for a lot of people. Right, next story, let's move on quickly.
The W.H. Smith store in Grimsby to close, according to the Grimsby Telegraph, which is quite unfortunate. Again, something else.
Yes,
I think
that's
it's
going
been there
to,
for years and years and years, and we're all quite used to that. So it seems as one comes in, one seems to leave at the moment in the town.
Definitely. But that will be bleak for the town, won't it?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see whether anybody steps in, because it's quite a big area in Freshney Place. It'd be interesting to see if anybody steps in. Talking of coming back, Grimsby Town, the Mariners Trust have announced that Harry's back. Harry Haddock.
Oh yes.
We all remember Harry.
And what you telling me? You had one of these.
I had
a
Harry Haddock, and unfortunately he swam downstream at Sheffield Wednesday's ground about sort of.
You threw it in the crowd,
19 years ago. No, actually in the stream after the...
Okay. We're going to hold it there, but we're going to come back to you shortly after this. Education has always been pushed to team up with industry to ensure students get practical real-life experiences. A college in Scunthorpe has recently launched a vehicle apprenticeship scheme with a national firm. Dave Nunn brings this report.
Students studying motor vehicle courses at North Lindsey College are set to benefit from a new £12 million investment in a purpose-built facility and the creation of hundreds of new apprenticeships.
The academy was set up last year and it's run for its first year. The first lot of students are now progressed onto their full apprenticeships. But this year we're looking for an increased number of applicants and from a variety of sites all across the country really, but there's a base in the region. This facility is going to allow them to train in purpose-built facilities with state-of-the-art technology.
The partnership with the national motor repair firm Just Car Clinic also means great news for the students, as it gives them the chance to go straight into a job after completing their course at the college.
The idea is that after the 12-week programme, they'll actually come and hopefully be employed by the company. Last year's intake were all fully employed and are still with us now. It means they hit the ground running and they're actually using equipment comparable to what we've got in our body shops.
Along with all the developments in the offshore wind industry and the opening of the Humber UTC in Scunthorpe this September, the addition of this scheme shows an increase in interest in the Humber region as a manufacturing hub, and that's something the college wants to capitalise on with this new scheme.
It means that we are perfectly positioned with brand new facilities, staff fully trained in place to be able to make the most of the opportunities out there for the young people that are coming to us. It's a bright future at the moment in the region for engineering, motor vehicle sector, and it means that we're going to be able to give them the best possible training in order to go out and get those opportunities that are coming now into the area.
You're watching Estuary News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now, they're one of the world's most famous orchestras, performing in extravagant concert halls worldwide. Now, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra have swapped the concert halls for a church in Cottingham to try a new method of rehabilitation for stroke patients, revolving around music, as Dave Nunn went to find out.
They're used to playing in surroundings such as the Royal Albert Hall, and now the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra are playing in Cottingham Road Baptist Church in Hull as part of a unique rehabilitation scheme.
This project is it's quite a unique project for the RPO and for Hull as well. It's using music making and whole group creative music making specifically alongside professional musicians for stroke patients as a rehabilitative tool. So whether that's cognitive, emotional wellbeing outcomes, we're looking at music making techniques that help to rehabilitate them in their path to recovery from a stroke.
The stroke rehabilitation project comes as part of the orchestra's 5-year residency at Hull City Hall and features musicians from the orchestra who wanted to be involved in the project and understand the effect music can have on stroke patients.
I've read up quite a bit about it recently because I've wanted to be involved in this particular project, and it's not only the actual physical side of things that is inhibiting, it's more the mental side of life as well. You're an active person one day and then the next day you're not, and that tends to bring on depression and a lot of ill feeling towards what's happened to you, and so music just generally tends to make people happy and sad, but it brings out emotion, and that helps them. I hope that will help them in some sort of way.
The nurses who look after the patients say the project does have a positive impact on their patients and their carers.
It's been a real privilege for us to see the patients come in and doing their rehab in this way, and for carers to be involved in that. For some of the patients and carers, they've really lost confidence after the stroke, and it completely changes their life. So for them to be able to come and be a part of something like this and get so much enjoyment out of it, as well as doing rehab, it's really great. And some of the patients have even said, and we've noticed, that they don't even really realise that they're doing rehab. They're just enjoying themselves and having fun, and it's really increasing their confidence in coming out and being part of a group and meeting new people.
And the patients are seeing many benefits, including increases in both physical and mental health.
Well, it's early days yet, but it's lifting morale because you do get depression a heck of a lot. My left arm is weak, so it's helping the movement of that and putting strength into my left arm. No, for a while, because I'm party sighted as well, so can't see anything much. I can't walk, so yeah, for things that can get better, it's helping slowly, but yeah, it will help.
Many people will remember the train line which ran from Grimsby to Louth and beyond. Louth Museum is currently hosting an exhibition looking at the history of the Lincolnshire Railway. The exhibits hope to remind people of the history of the station, which closed to passengers in 1970. Richard Morris brings us more.
The Lincolnshire Railway routes through Louth may well have closed 45 years ago, but the history and heritage still resonate with many local enthusiasts. An exhibition running at the Louth Museum aims to reconnect those memories with artefacts from the past.
It was a main line, and it had important traffic on it, like fish traffic from Grimsby to London, which was given priority. So it was an interesting line, and Louth was a centre on that line. In fact, at one time, the railway was the biggest employer in Louth.
The artefacts weren't too difficult to source.
Well, we've tried to pick things which were in some way related to Louth. It seemed obvious, you know, coming to the Louth Museum. That was the criteria, really. We have a museum at Ludborough. That's where the society is centred. And we've got quite a lot of stuff relating to Louth.
Martin Chapman, the chair of Louth Museum, says the exhibition will be running for a few weeks.
This particular exhibition should be running for 4 weeks approximately, and we run different exhibitions throughout the year, with usually about 4 or possibly 5 per year, in order to try and show something different and get different clientele in all the time to see something of interest. We're now talking and planning 2016's exhibitions, and this one's been in the planning with the Lincolnshire Wales Railway for many months, actually. In fact, the autumn of last year we started planning it.
Louth Museum is open Wednesday to Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Still with me in the studio going through the papers is John Byrne from the YMCA Humber. What else have you found?
I found this one buried in the Hull Daily Mail. I was quite surprised, actually. I thought it'd be a more newsworthy piece. That the poet Philip Larkin is to be commemorated in Westminster. Poets' Corner, they're going to have a statue of him. He's obviously one of Hull's most famous sons and one of the 20th century's most famous poets. But this is it's right at the back of the Hull Daily Mail, and I thought that might be front page news personally. You know, he's going to be immortalised really alongside some of the all-time great poets, and Philip Larkin is someone I'd like to reacquaint myself with his work.
I was going to say,
personally.
have you read his poetry?
A long time ago,
right?
Sort of in the college and university days.
Yeah.
But
Can you remember any of you? Because I have to admit, I'm not familiar with Larkin's work. I have to say, T.S. Eliot, Tennyson, but not Larkin.
No,
because
Larkin,
he's going to lie alongside them, isn't
yes.
he, in Poets' Corner?
And maybe as a poet, there's not too many accolades higher than that to be alongside peers such as.
Of course, and he turned down Poet Laureate, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But
yeah, it is a rightful commemoration.
Something I might try and dig out this weekend is some.
There we go. That's it. Next story. I like the look of this one.
Yeah. So you're looking for transport.
I think you have to hold
transporting
that Scunthorpe.
Camera. Only the mystery machine with Scooby-Doo will do. That's a mouthful. A gentleman called Simon Sefton has let his inner child take over when he bought an old camper van, has turned it into Scooby-Doo's mystery machine. Oh. So I'm sure that'll be pleasing some of the children and maybe even bigger children.
What does he do with that machine?
He just
does he go around solving crimes?
He just. I don't know whether he'll go around with solving crimes with the help of a talking dog or not.
You could be Shaggy.
I could be.
You have had a haircut.
I've had the haircut, but I've still got the sort of 5 o'clock. It was more like 9:30 shadow this morning. He's actually going to do children's parties in it.
Right.
So
okay.
That'll be something that I think
I'm sure
people
that will
can
be.
enjoy.
And we've got time for one last one.
And we'll head over to Driftfield, where a 90-year-old charity worker has been awarded MBE for outstanding service to the local community.
Okay.
So it's Mrs. Shirley Franklin, who's 90, and she's devoted 70 years to the National Children's Society. So it's massive kudos to her.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming in and taking time to look through the papers. Now here's Erica Barker with the sport.
Grimsby Town's Operation Promotion Fund continues to gather momentum, with almost £55,000 reached off the £100,000 target, with funds gathered from donations being ploughed into the club. In Rugby Super League, Hull KR host Warrington Wolves at the KC Lightstream Stadium tonight, but Chris Chester's side will have to do this without their influential skipper Terry Campese, who is out for the remainder of this season. Elsewhere, Hull FC are to face the Leeds Rhinos at Headingley on Sunday. The Black and Whites have added to their squad for 2016 with the acquisition of New Zealand and Samoa international forward Frank Pitchard from the Canterbury Bulldogs. In Speedway, the Scunthorpe Scorpions face the Glasgow Tigers, which has been labelled as a David vs Goliath meeting, with the Tigers seen as one of the top sides. The visitors also have Nick Morris and David Howe, both of whom have previously been at the Scorpions. In football, there's no break for Hull City's Robert Snodgrass this summer as he continues his rehabilitation from a serious knee injury at a camp in Portugal. Snodgrass sustained the injury during the opening league game of last season against Queen's Park Rangers and underwent surgery to reconstruct knee ligaments. And Grimsby Borough has announced their new management team ahead of the new Northern Counties East League season. Gavin Precious and Andy Thornton will take joint charge of the team, while Pete Lynch joins as assistant coach. That's all for now.
Well, that's all we've time for today. Join us again next week for more news. If you have a story for us, then go to our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 315 553. Until next time, goodbye.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. A cloudy morning on Saturday with some hill fog and occasional rain, slowly becoming dry during the afternoon with some brightness possible. Winds mainly light with a maximum temperature 15 degrees Celsius. Sunday will be cloudy with scattered showers and some sunny periods.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.